Hello everyone. Today is the 20th of March, and a short while ago I made a video where I showed how we release the queens. But today I want to also show the different cages that we use for caging queens, and to talk about a little bit the differences and why do we choose one or the other. So here I have the big queen cage, which is used primarily for winter, and here I have a couple of smaller options, also queen cages. So what are the main differences? These large cages are used primarily only for winter. We can't use them during the summer because they are too large and bees are likely to build comb inside of it to let the queen lay eggs. So we can't do that, and we are restricted to use them during the summer. Another downfall of them during the season. 1 second, I'll bring my body. So if we have a hive like this, for example, the cage is placed here, so you can see there will be space between the cage and the bottom or the other super, so the bees will make comb here like this. So we can't do that, so we can't use them during the season, simply for this reason. So we use them during the winter to cage the queens. The queen is simply put inside here, and we put a wooden part to close that up, and to close the cage we just use wire here, and we also put a wire in the middle so it doesn't make any so there is no gaps, and it stays closed. And how it's placed, it's simply between the combs, between the frames, and you can put like a nail here or something that it hangs on the top of the frames, and it just hangs like there. The main thing that you have to be cautious about, you have to place the long bottom edge here next to the entrance, because when the cluster forms at the front entrance of the hive at the bottom, and it goes like this till the back of the hive, so the queen is able to follow the movement of the cluster. So therefore this has to be at the front entrance, the bottom part, and then the queen can follow the cluster. Another type of cages, I lost one somewhere. Here. Another type of cages are smaller. Well, there are a number of different type of cages. Here we also use Nikon excluders, just simple queen excluders. We find them the best quality for the cages. You see they're looking for warmth now. So these are used mostly during the summer. You can use either bigger ones or smaller ones, and the cage is placed into a comb itself, and you place it around 3 fingers from the top bar something like that. So it's rather better to place them on the top than on the bottom, because on the bottom the conditions for the queen are not that good. So you rather put it on top where it's a little bit warmer, more bees are there, and especially if you want to keep it, it's for the season. It doesn't matter during the season, open season. It's not that bad. But if you want to keep it the queen during the winter in these small cages, you have to think about the positioning of the cluster, so the cluster doesn't leave the queen, because as you know, the cluster doesn't care about the queen when the temperatures drop, the thermal level drops, and they don't actually care that much about the queen. So you have to know where the cluster will form and where the cluster will be, so that you place the cage with the queen at the place where the cluster is gonna where the bees are gonna be and where the bees are gonna winter. If you place it far off the cluster, the queen is not gonna be heated, she's not gonna be fed, and she's gonna die. So these small cages, you can see they are not that long. You can't use them during the winter because the cluster will leave them. The cluster is gonna form at the bottom of the at the front bottom of the hive. It's gonna travel, and you basically can't capture the cluster for all the winter in this cage. So you rather use a longer one. So if you think it's like in the frame, it stands like this, so the cluster actually is covering the whole cage. From my personal experience, for maybe the last 7 years, I've been using these large cages for winter and small ones for the season. But this year I didn't have enough of them. We were short of them, so I used some of these smaller, long ones for the winter. And actually, I like them pretty much. All the queens survived in them. So I think I'm gonna switch from these large ones to rather smaller ones, because they are easier to let the queens out during the spring. You can easily locate the queen, because locating during the spring in these cages, it takes ages. So I rather use these, and yeah, I didn't have any problems. Some people have problems with queens dying in them, but that's, I think, primarily due to them not capturing the position of the cluster, and then the queen just dies out of cold or out of starvation. So yeah, so these cages are great. I know there are a lot of them that you can buy online, but personally I like these better because it's wood, so the queen feels quite alright here, and they are really easy to make. You can see it's like staples here, staple, 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 and no staple. It's like basically it takes nothing to make them, and you can take this out and put it back if you want, and it's super easy to cage the queen. You can just open, pop her here, close it, and that's it. So yeah, the queen cages, I just want to make a short video about that, about the differences. So if you want, you can use these for winter only. If you want to have them serving you during the season and during the winter, you can use these longer ones. If you want only the season, you can use even smaller ones. It doesn't really matter. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat and I'll be happy to answer.